dream journal or diary. And I've been thinking about utilizing YouTube to do that. So here I am. Okay. So I'm trying to figure out if I just want to record the part of my dream that I wasn't able to record, or if I want to record the whole thing. Well, here we go. So here's the dream in its entirety. This was a dream from this morning. I had a kid who was in my care. I had several kids who were in my care. So I had my own children, and then I had some other children who were in my care in this dream. And the way the house that I was in was set up was a little bit different than the house that I'm in right now. However, it had similarities. So it felt like it was that's the only similarity it had, is that it felt like it was the house that I was in now. But when I looked in the room, it was like a floor model TV was in there. It had the floral chair covers in the room. So back when I was coming up, we had like, sometimes you would go to somebody's house and there would be like a day bed in the entertaining room. There'd be like a day bed, and there would be like a floor model TV. A floor model TV is a huge TV that sits on the floor. So we got the flat screen TV, and most of the time those TVs are up on the wall, or they are up on a entertainment center, something like that, some type of table or something like that. But these TVs that we had back in the days, they would sit on the floor. So this is the view of what I am seeing inside this room. There's a day bed in here with these flowery, with a flowery concept to it. A floor model TV. So I know that it's not the house that I'm in right now. Not only that, the house that I'm in right now doesn't have a entertainment room in the front. As soon as you walk in the front of the house, right? So as soon as you walk in the house in this dream, that's what's going on. I'm in the room, but I'm laying down. I'm like still sleeping. I'm still sleeping, and the kids are up. Now, to set the scene, it's early in the morning, maybe between 6:30, 7 o'clock, and it has to be during fall time because it's still dark outside during that time. Like it's like 7 o'clock in this dream, like 7 o'clock. But right now, it's springtime, so it's April. It's lit up outside at 7 o'clock, so I'm figuring that it's fall time in this dream. But anyway, so I'm laying on the bed, the day bed, and I'm sleeping. And the kids are in there, they're doing their thing, which is jumping, you know what I'm saying, mixing. They're just being like what, normal kids. They're just moving around, hanging out, playing, laughing. That's just all I remember in the dream. I remember like the kids could not stop laughing. Like they was just laughing. They were just laughing at each other, and they were having such a great time with each other. And so I remember starting to wake up, and the kids, I could hear them like trying to include me into what was going on in the dream because they was calling my name. But honey, I was sleeping. And my older daughter, she's 17, and my other daughter, like my big kids were there too. So this is who is watching after them while I'm knocked out, right? One of the kids was leaning on the bed. It was a little boy. He was leaning on the bed, and he is Caucasian, and that plays significant because what I'm about to tell you now. he's Caucasian, right? He's leaning on the bed and he's just laughing. I just remember like they just got this contagious laugh. And so I started to wake up because they laughing so much. I want to get up and laugh with them, right? So as I'm opening my eyes, you know what I'm saying, I ain't even wiped the crust out my eyes yet. As I'm opening my eyes, I see one of the students there. This little boy is Caucasian, and his hair is sticking up in an unusual way. Like his hair in the center of his head is just sticking up. So I'm steady trying to get up, and as I'm opening my eyes and getting up, I notice his hair is sticking up, and I'm looking at his hair trying to figure out why his hair sticking up, and I see like there's something on his hair, like at the root of his hair. So I'm looking and I see the buildup, and I'm like, I know his parents did not allow him to come here with this buildup on his hair like this. I mean, the buildup was so great and so grand that his hair it wasn't lifting a little bit, it was sticking straight up. So as I'm continuing to look at his hair and I'm waking up more and more and more, I notice that not only is it build up, but the build up is from, that's what it was, nest. So he has lice in his hair, right? But I also see ticks. These ticks were full with blood. They were so fat. These ticks on this boy head were so fat. So he had lice, he had ticks. Now when I'm looking at his hair right now, at this point, I'm like, oh my goodness. I know that I cannot move him too much because I don't want the bugs that's in his hair. I don't want the lice and all of that. I don't want it to fall, right? Because there's other kids in the house. I don't want it to fall. I don't want it to fall on him or on me. So I'm not jerking him. I'm getting up out the bed very, very slowly. And as I'm getting up out the bed very, very slowly, I'm moving cautiously. One of the ticks, I'm pretty much out the bed now. One of the ticks falls on the bed and on the covers. So I'm smashing with all of my might every area in the circumference of where I think that this thing fell. I'm smashing up the covers. I smashed till I can't smash no more. I'm trying to get this cover out of here, but I want him to be stationary because again, these things was just, oh my, these things was on this, I mean, it was so many of these credits. And you know how a dream is when you need to really pay attention to something. It's like back in the days we used to watch these cartoons, and it was like when they said bonkers or when it crashed, it was almost like a yo-yo effect where you zoomed up on it. And when I noticed that there's some emphasis being placed on that particular thing that I need to pay attention to. So as I'm waking up and I'm seeing this boy head, I'm noticing that there's emphasis on these critters that is like 3 or 4 different type of bugs on this child head. How do I know that? Because I see different shapes, shades, sizes. I know what lice look like. I know what ticks look like. I know what fleas look like. And there's different bugs. I can see the different bugs on top of this child head, along with this massive buildup. Because I was just saying, like, what is this massive buildup? But now I think about it, and I'm thinking now that it's the nest it was nest there. It was nest. That's what that was. Nest from these bugs that have been there hatching their eggs. So I'm getting up, and when I'm getting up, I'm calling his mom. This is what I'm doing. I'm like, I need to call your parents. Somebody needs to come get you because first of all, there's no way possible, okay, that they ain't seen unless you were going to Granny them house and they can't see something. Because this buildup is so great, and these bugs, like I said, the emphasis was on the bugs because there was so many of them. It was so many. That's how I saw it. It was like in my face, and it was so many of these bugs. And the ticks they were fat. Okay. So now I'm calling the parents. The parents didn't answer the phone, so I'm calling emergency contact. I'm calling the grandparent. So the grandma answered the phone. The grandma says to me, she says it in a snooty way, like they they can't answer the phone because they're at work. Gotcha. But when there's an emergency with your child, that's what I'm thinking. And I expressed this, hey, she needs to come and get him. There's an emergency with this baby, and she needs to come and get him. Now he's not a baby. He's about this kid is about 4 years old, and I'm saying she needs to come and get him because you know he got this situation going on here. This is bad. So what happens? Finally the grandma comes. I'm sorry, finally the mom comes. And when the mom comes, I'm getting him. He's coming out the door. He's coming out the door, and she's talking to me. While she's talking to me, I'm like telling her, if you want to hose his head up. Oh, and let me go back. The reason why, because normally I'm just a type of person where I try to do whatever I can, especially when it comes down to kids being in my care. I know how it could be for the mental strain that could be on parents where they want to do but they can't do because of, again, the mental strain. So I would have tried to do something about it, but I remember feeling I remember feeling ill-equipped. I was feeling like I don't have the experience or the know-how on how to effectively deal with this problem, this situation, with these things on top of this child head. So I remember not even trying to, because I was like, this is what I was thinking to myself, especially when she wasn't answering the phone, nobody was answering the phone. I said, maybe I could just take him outside and I can blast these bugs off his head with the hose, high pressure hose. I could blast these bugs off. But then I started thinking, I was like, that's not a good idea because I don't want them things to jump on me. I don't want them to fall on him, and then I don't want them to be in the yard. So, um, we waited. His mom came, and again, so she's picking him up. And I remember she was trying to tell me I had already offered her the holes, though. I remember while she was talking to me, I was saying, I pray that she don't blast. Why did you offer her? That's what I'm thinking about here. Why did you offer her the holes? Because if she blasts it, then it's gonna be in your yard. And so I was just thinking that, and I was like, we don't want it to be in the yard because other kids play, and we do have a dog. So while I'm thinking that, she's telling me that the neighbor, she was saying that some lady who looks Mediterranean said to me, well, she didn't say it looked Mediterranean, but I could see it in my mind's eye in a dream. That the lady had looked Mediterranean and that she was telling her that she shouldn't be over there. She shouldn't be over there. And she was telling the lady, "Oh no, she doesn't live here, but she knows who lives here." And the lady was telling her, "Yeah, still telling her you shouldn't be here, and telling her you need to keep your um kids' toys out of my yard." Now the thing is, while she's telling me this, I'm like, my neighbors don't have any problem with the toys that's in my yard, in their yard, if there are ever toys in their yard, because we don't. So that's why it didn't make any sense what his mom was saying, but I could see that that is really what the lady was saying. Because in a dream, you see all parts. A lot of times, you see what needs to be said and what needs to be seen. So she was saying it, and I know that the lady said it because I could see her saying it. Um, but there was no toys in the yard. But I was just telling her, I was like, yeah, no, it's fine. I'm not sure what that is, but I knew who my neighbors are, and she's not my neighbor. So maybe a guest or something. So now she takes the little boy home. So now I have to call all of the other parents and let them know like the situation with being the street, but also letting them know that this is the situation. So now we're moving on. All of the kids are gone. So I'm asking my kids, I'm like, what do y'all want to do? It seemed like the older kids, they were content with staying home and just hanging out and just having a good time. Excuse me. Previously, I'd asked them all, what is something that y'all want to do? You got a bucket list, something that if you could think of them, um, anything that you wanted to do, what would it be? So they had already named off some stuff. So while I was asking them what did they want to do for the rest of the evening, I was asking them, I was asking them, um, I was asking them what they wanted to do. I brought that back up to them, the fact that, hey, y'all got this list, and if y'all want to do something off your list, that's fine. But they kind of wasn't giving, paying me no attention. Yeah, they were content with what they was doing and where they were. They were fine being on. So my baby son, that's my rider. My baby son, he was like, "All right, mama, we can go somewhere." And when we was getting ready to go, before we left the house, he said, "I want to go to a Bulls game." Bulls. He says, "I want to go to a Bulls game," because that was on him and his brother bucket list, that they wanted to go. They wanted to go to a Bulls game, and they wanted to meet Michael Jordan. This is in the dream now. I'm like, okay, well, come on, let's go. So it seemed like I went to go look and see if there was a game where we were, and it just happened so quick where it was like I went to go look, and then we were getting dressed. We were going to get dressed, and we were okay. So we're going to get dressed, and I remember saying like we wanted to put on, red and the Bulls colors, red and white or red and black. But we were leaning prefer, and I was telling him, I was like, yeah, so let's just make sure that we got the both colors on. Let's just go all the way out. So we get to the arena. When we get to the arena, me and my son gone. When we get to the arena, we were being ushered to our seats. And I noticed that there was an emphasis on the seats being to the right of us. Hey, yes, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. I remember there was an emphasis with the seats being to the right of us, and we were being ushered to our seats. I remember like feeling, because I was somewhat conscious a little bit, just a little bit in a dream, and I was saying, well, is our seats going to be up there? Because I guess I was thinking with my mind, saying my right now mind. I was saying, aren't we going to go up into the seats? Because the seats that we were walking past, we was literally like on the floor seats. Like the first seat in the first floor seats were where we were, right? We were not where the basketball players sit, and they're folding chairs like right in front of the bleachers, but we were the seats right behind the players were where we were. And I was like, oh, okay, well, amens. And we're being ushered to our seats, and I noticed that we get to this area where the arena is full, um but in this one little section, it was this one man. He was a Caucasian man. He was probably between 58, like 56, between yeah, probably 58 to like 60. He was a older man, but you could tell he was very youthful. He had on, like, I remember he had on like a khaki pants and navy casual coat. I mean, he had looked very business casual at the top, but I remember as we were approaching this particular area, he had his feet crossed. On the chairs, but there was nobody sitting with him. Nobody at all sitting with him. And I remember when we came that way, it was like he had this attitude where like, ain't nobody really even supposed to be over here. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody supposed to be over here. But he put his foot down to let us come through. He put his foot down to let us come through. And okay. Yeah. All right, let's stay focused. He put his feet down to let us come in. And so it was like once we got there to that point, the usher wasn't there. The usher was not there anymore. Now we walked in. He put his feet down to let us come in. And I don't remember if we walked in front of him or behind him, but I remember as we was getting ready to sit down, he was like trying to talk to us, being courteous. And as we were talking, we were just so excited. We were excited to be there at the game. We was excited to be at the Bulls game. We was excited and hoping to meet Michael Jordan. And this man was we was making small conversation. Anyways, within the small conversation, we found out that he was the Bulls owner. He was the owner of the Bulls team. So we was like, super excited about that too. You know what I'm saying? We sitting with the owner of the Bulls team. Now again, nobody else nobody else is sitting in this section. All right. There's no tape to block off this area, but I guess people just know. So now we sitting there, and while we're talking to the Bulls, the team owner, we're talking to him, and he's like, "Oh, you want to meet Michael? You want to sit over here?" Like he's offering us all of these things, like making these things accessible to us, like pretty much anything we could imagine being associated with this Bulls game at the snap of his fingers, he's like, you can have it. So he pretty much is asking us, oh, you want to do this, you want to meet Mike, da 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 da. And so I was, and then he was just being very kind to us. So I was like, okay, cool. I was like, well, we are going to actually go get something to eat before the game, and then we're going to come back. So I went to go tell. I left, and when I left, me and Caleb went to Wendy's. And I was telling Caleb, I was like, I really wish that we had the red and black Jordans on, or the red and white. I was telling him, like, I really wish that I could have did that for you, son. I really wish that I could have had those shoes so you could have been fully dressed in the Chicago Bull colors. Because I almost kind of felt like I had the shoes on, or I wanted the shoes and they had them on. I don't know. But anyways, I really wanted to get it for him. So it was while we was on Wendy's, the people was overhearing our conversation. It was like, "Oh, y'all went to the Bulls game," and I was like, telling them, I was telling them about our experience, and I was telling them like, I really wish that I had these shoes for my son. And we left, we left Wendy's. Wendy's was a really this whole experience was super surreal. The people in Wendy's was extremely nice to us. And whatever we was talking about in there, they was giving us insight on how we could get what we want or do what we want, however, whatever. So now we are going to we went back to the house. After we left Wendy's, we went back to the house because I went to go tell it wasn't time for the game yet. Exactly. So we going to tell the kids like, hey, we went to the Bulls game. We got ushered in this. We met the owner. We gonna probably meet Mike. You know what I'm saying? We calling him by his first name, like we cool, like we homeboys or whatever. So I'm telling them, and everybody getting excited. Everybody getting excited. And so I was telling King, my son, I was saying, well, when I was asking you if you wanted to go, you wasn't interested, but now you want to go. And he was like, I want to go, I want to go, I want to go. And I was telling him, I was like, no, you ain't going now. You ain't going now. You ain't going now. And I could have tell that he had felt some type of way. But I was like, you should have came when the opportunity was presented to you. So me and Caleb, we left back. It seemed like King was with us, but at a certain point he wasn't. So we went back to the arena, and again, we were in that area. And I remember we wanted to meet Mike, and we did. I felt like we did make. I didn't see him. I don't remember seeing him like physically, but it felt like whatever we wanted, we received. Whatever we wanted, sitting by the owner of that team, we received. And so that was my dream. Now, definitely, I have prayed and asked the Father for the interpretation of this dream, and I am waiting for him to release. He says, those of you who lack wisdom, pray. And so I prayed, Lord, give me the wisdom to understand what all of these different symbols mean in this dream, from the fact that It was emphasis on the red and black shoes. We sat in the area where the owner was sitting. We had the best seats in the house. The best seats in the house. The fact that we were connected to the owner and whatever we wanted, we could have. The fact that every place that we went, it was a great experience. People were interested in helping us in our experiences. The fact that we didn't have exactly what we wanted on, but it did not it did not change our experience. It did not change the fact that we still had a great time. Whatever we wanted again that we received. Um, it did not, and I also everybody who was connected to us could not go because everybody who was connected to us did not want to go. There was some people, like I said, in the dream, my oldest daughters, they were content with staying home. I mean, like they didn't even engage me. They didn't engage me with an idea of what they even wanted to do because they were so satisfied with being home. They were satisfied. They had been very comfortable with being home, so they didn't want to go anywhere else. And then my other son, he wanted to go once he realized how much fun it was. But we had already went. We already gotten our seats and our tickets, and so I told him, no, you should have got on the ride when the ride was first rolling. Um, Emphasis on those bugs that was on that child head. Lord, 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 give me understanding with that, because I could think of, the first thing that come to my mind is like some type of mental situation, right? He's still laughing. He's still laughing, but you got all this going on. I mean, severe. What's the word I want to use? I'm thinking of it right now. Severe dysfunction. But dysfunction is not the word that I want to use, but that's what I'm gonna have to plug there for right now. Severe dysfunction, insanity, severe insanity, where you like getting up every day knowing that that's on your head and continuing on with life. You expecting something different to happen? Absolutely not. This thing gonna keep on piling up, and they're gonna be bugs that die, and then and they're gonna eat the ones, and then they're gonna be new ones, and they're gonna eat them ones, and so just the emphasis on that, the emphasis on that man's shoes. I talk about it was like boing, 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 like made. He was sitting in the seat, and we were walking into that area, and the shoes zoomed up. The red and black 12s zoomed up. Um, the fact that the kids laughed the whole time. The fact that the fact that that child could laugh with that stuff on his head, like in the midst of it all, I'm still. So I'm just praying and asking God to give me revelation, understanding, because I want to know what this dream meant. All right, contend well. Have a great day.